I secured a software engineering internship at Meta in San Francisco, paying $54 an hour. My name's Abhiram, and in this video, I'm gonna break down how I optimized my resume, how I aced the Meta OA, the interview process, and the offer and its benefits. Internships, especially at Meta, are harder than ever to come by with a less than 1% acceptance rate. So starting with a quick timeline, I applied to Meta on September 30th. I got the OA a couple days later on October 3rd, and I just did that as soon as I possibly could. I thought I did pretty well, but I wasn't sure if I was gonna hear back, but the recruiter actually reached out to me about a week later on October 10th, letting me know that I made it to the final round and that would happen on October 25th. So after that happened, I heard back on October 28th, which is a super short turnaround time, and I found out that I got the offer. Diving into each part, before even applying, you gotta make sure that your resume is in a format readable by ATS scanners. Since AI is the one kind of parsing through resumes right now and filtering them, I kind of just put my resume through an online ATS checker and made sure that all the information on it could be parsed correctly. Here's my resume at the time of me applying. As you can see, it's super standardized, and it would be really easy to kind of categorize the information in sections so that the AI could parse it. I'll do a deep dive of my entire resume in a future video, so just let me know if you want to see that in the comments. Just getting the OA is typically the hardest part of applying to most FANG companies, so it's really important that you kind of optimize your resume to make sure that you get there. The OA was a code signal with 4 technical questions, which were mostly LeetCode's easies to mediums. I don't remember my exact questions, but kind of like all code signals, it got harder as you went through it, and you had about 70 minutes to get through all 4 questions. Question 3 typically ends up being the hardest on most code signals. So one piece of advice that I have is if you find yourself stuck and not able to finish every test case on question 3, you can go ahead and move on to question 4 and kind of maximize your points there. To prepare for the OA, I pretty much just learned data structures and algorithms like patterns on LeetCode, and then I kind of made sure to do a couple more practice questions on LeetCode to make sure that I had the patterns down. There was also a work style assessment that kind of focused on more of the behavioral portion and how you were in the office. There wasn't really any way to prepare for this, but one thing that I did was I kind of went on Meta's website ahead of time and looked into their mission and their values and made sure to emphasize those in my answers. 2 things that Meta values a lot is moving fast and strong direct communication, so I made sure to emphasize those answers specifically. After I got the invite for the interview, I found out I had about 2 weeks to prepare. Those 2 weeks were the most stressful weeks of my semester because I had midterms and projects due, but I still had to make sure that I was kind of staying locked in with the LeetCode. I pretty much treated it like another class and prioritized it over some of my schoolwork at times because I knew that this was a 1% opportunity that I had to make the most of. I spent the first week making sure that my fundamentals and data structures and algorithms were good, and I did that by doing the blind 75 on LeetCode and solving all of the easies and mediums there. I would recommend sticking to one pattern at a time just so that you make sure that you have that pattern down fully before you move on to the next one. After I got through that, I had about a week left until my interview. I heard online somewhere that most tech companies kind of recycle interview questions, and I figured that even if that wasn't true, it'd be nice to see what other people were asked. So I went ahead and bought LeetCode Premium so that I could have access to the Meta question bank. I know online on GitHubs and Discords that people kind of posted this stuff for free, but I wanted the most up-to-date questions and frequencies of questions, so I went ahead and bought LeetCode Premium anyway. The Premium is also nice because it gives you access to the editorial, which kind of details the solution to LeetCode questions and space complexity, time complexity, and alternate solutions. So I could really make sure that I fully understood a problem that I did. I pretty much did only meta-tagged questions for the week leading up to my interview, and I also did a couple mock interviews with friends just so that I could simulate the actual interview environment. For the interview, it was only one 45-minute round with 2 technical questions. No part of the interview was behavioral. That was all taken care of in the OA ahead of time. At the beginning of the interview, I kind of made some small talk with my interviewer, and I think that really helped ease both of us into it and kind of remove the pressure from the whole thing. It also made it a lot easier to kind of communicate out loud and think out loud during the actual interview itself, since it felt a lot more conversational rather than a formal interview. I got 2 LeetCode mediums. I don't remember exactly what they were, but I don't think they were super difficult. I was asked to follow up on the second question, which had me optimize my code for space complexity, and I was able to get through that as well. Overall, I thought it went pretty well and I was happy with it. You don't actually code in a working IDE, it's just a blank doc, so it's pretty important that you dry run and walk through your code during the interview itself so that you can make sure that it's working. I heard back a few days later and I got the offer. I saw that it was for a suburb of San Francisco, which was Menlo Park, and that was really exciting because I knew that there would be a ton of other interns there and it would be a great opportunity for networking and just making friends in general. The pay was $54 an hour and they also offered free food on campus. We could even get dinner if we stayed late. They also offered relocation, which was two choices. The first was that they would pretty much just pick an apartment for you somewhere in the Bay Area, which was nice because it was super simple and easy, but you kind of lost the opportunity to live with any friends or choose specifically where you wanted to live. The second option was a housing stipend, which was around $3,500 a month, and that gave you the flexibility to choose where you wanted to live in the Bay Area, but it's also a lot easier said than done to find housing for just 3 months in the Bay during summer. I personally went the stipend route so that I could live in the actual SF downtown, but that made my commute to the office pretty long at about an hour each way. Luckily though, Meta offers shuttles that come to the city and pick you up and take you to the office, and you could actually work on these since they have Wi-Fi on them. No matter where you live in the city, there are so many shuttle stops that you're gonna end up at a maximum of a 15 to 20 minute walking distance from any of these stops. And yeah, that's pretty much the whole offer and its benefits. If you're currently in the trenches of recruiting and feel like the process is a total black box, check out Landed HQ. We have helped 30 plus college students and new grads land big tech internships and job offers. In my next video, I'm gonna do a deep dive into my resume, so be sure to like and subscribe for more.